What if I told you that your cat isn't just a pet, but a spiritual guardian sent to protect your soul during humanity's darkest hour? What if the most famous psychic in American history predicted this moment 80 years ago, and every cat owner today is living proof that his prophecy is unfolding exactly as he foretold? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change how you see that quiet, knowing creature watching you right now. The year was 1943. While World War II raged across the globe, Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, entered one of his legendary trance states in his small office in Virginia Beach. His secretary, Gladys Davis, prepared her stenograph as she had countless times before. But this reading would be different. This reading would remain buried in the archives for decades, because what Cayce revealed that day seemed impossible to believe. Until now. Cayce spoke of a time in the future when humanity would face its greatest spiritual crisis. Not war, not famine, but something far more dangerous: complete disconnection from their souls. He described a world where technology would advance faster than wisdom, where people would have everything yet feel empty, where the very essence of what makes us human would begin to fade. But in that dark prophecy, Cayce revealed something extraordinary. He said that in this time of spiritual amnesia, divine beings would be placed among us, not angels with wings, not prophets with robes, but creatures with whiskers and paws and eyes that see beyond the physical world. Cats, he said, would serve as spiritual sentinels for humanity's awakening. According to Cayce's reading, each cat carries what he called a vibrational signature, perfectly attuned to a specific human soul. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Cayce claimed that cats don't just comfort us emotionally, they actually realign our energy fields, acting as living healing instruments that work on frequencies our science is only beginning to understand. He described how cats would position themselves strategically around their humans, not randomly, but with precise intention. They would sit on your chest during anxiety attacks because your heart chakra needed rebalancing. They would curl around your head at night because your mental energy was scattered. They would appear at your doorstep during your darkest moments because your soul was calling for help. And they were the answer. Now, 8 decades later, researchers are discovering that Cayce's mystical vision has a scientific foundation that's absolutely mind-blowing. Dr. Elizabeth Hartwell, a neurobiologist at Stanford, began studying the electromagnetic fields produced by domestic cats after her own rescue cat seemed to predict her panic attacks with uncanny accuracy. What she found defied conventional understanding of animal behavior. Cats, her research revealed, generate electromagnetic frequencies that directly correspond to human brainwave patterns associated with healing and emotional regulation. When a cat purrs at 26 Hz, it's not just making a pleasant sound, it's producing a frequency scientifically proven to promote bone healing, reduce inflammation, and stabilize heart rhythm. But the implications go deeper. Dr. Hartwell's team discovered that cats can detect minute changes in their owner's bioelectric field up to 48 hours before the human consciously experiences emotional distress. They're not just responding to our moods, they're predicting and preemptively treating our spiritual imbalances. Consider Isabella Thompson, a trauma therapist from Denver who thought she understood the human-animal bond better than most. After losing her husband in a car accident, Isabella fell into a depression so deep that she considered ending her own life. Her friends, her family, even her professional training couldn't pull her from the darkness. Then, walking through a parking lot one evening, she heard a weak meowing coming from under a car. She found a severely injured tabby cat, barely alive, with one eye missing and a broken leg. Against all logic, she spent her last $800 on emergency veterinary care for this stray. That night, as Isabella sat on her couch contemplating ending her pain, the cat somehow escaped from his carrier and climbed onto her lap. As she stroked his fur, feeling his purr vibrate through her chest, something shifted. The overwhelming despair that had consumed her for months began to lift, not through willpower or medication, but through this mysterious connection with a creature that had appeared at her darkest hour. Isabella named him Phoenix, and together they began to heal. But here's the extraordinary part. Phoenix seemed to know exactly when Isabella's depressive episodes were coming. He would become unusually affectionate, positioning himself against her chest or throat, purring at frequencies that somehow stabilized her emotional state before she even realized she was struggling. Was this coincidence? Or was Phoenix fulfilling exactly the role Cayce had predicted for cats in our time? Dr. Marcus Chen, a quantum physicist at MIT, initially dismissed stories like Isabella's as wishful thinking. But when his own rescue cat began exhibiting behavior that seemed to violate the laws of probability, he decided to investigate. More intriguingly, the cat's presence seemed to affect the outcome of Chen's quantum experiments in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Using sophisticated electromagnetic field detectors, Chen discovered that cats exist in a state of quantum entanglement with their human companions. Their nervous systems become synchronized at the subatomic level, creating a feedback loop that allows them to influence their human's emotional and even physical state. This isn't mysticism. This is quantum mechanics proving what Edgar Cayce intuited 80 years ago. Cats are living bridges between dimensions, capable of accessing information and energy that exists beyond our normal perception. As Cayce's prophecy predicted, cats don't just randomly appear in our lives. They arrive precisely when we need them most, guided by what he called soul magnetism. Maria Santos from Sao Paulo discovered this when her grandmother was dying of cancer. The family had no pets, no interest in animals, but during her grandmother's final week, a beautiful calico cat began appearing at their window every day. She would sit there for hours, staring directly at the dying woman with an intensity that made the family uncomfortable. On the day Maria's grandmother passed, the cat somehow got inside the house and was found curled up on the bed beside her body. The family tried to remove the cat, but she refused to leave until after the funeral. Then, as mysteriously as she had appeared, she vanished. Maria later learned that in Brazilian folklore, cats are believed to guide souls safely to the afterlife. Her grandmother, who had been terrified of dying, passed peacefully with a smile on her face. The cat had fulfilled her spiritual mission. Cayce predicted that as humanity approached its spiritual crisis, certain sensitive individuals would begin to remember their true nature. These people would be drawn to cats, and cats would be drawn to them, creating a network of awakened souls anchored by their feline guardians. This is exactly what we're seeing today. Across the globe, people are reporting profound spiritual experiences with their cats. Not just comfort or companionship, but actual healing, psychic connections, and moments of transcendence that transform their understanding of reality. Jennifer Walsh, a software engineer from Seattle, describes how her cat Luna began meditating with her. "I thought I was imagining it at first," Jennifer explains. "But every time I sat down to meditate, Luna would position herself directly in front of me, close her eyes, and remain perfectly still for the entire session. Her breathing would synchronize with mine, and I could feel this incredible energy flowing between us." Jennifer's meditation practice deepened dramatically with Luna's presence. She began experiencing visions, receiving intuitive insights, and feeling connected to something far greater than herself. Luna wasn't just a pet. She was a spiritual teacher disguised as a house cat. Scientists have discovered that cats produce healing frequencies not just through purring, but through their entire electromagnetic field. When a cat rubs against you, they're not just marking you with their scent. They're actually recalibrating your energy field, removing negative frequencies and replacing them with healing vibrations. Dr. Janet Morrison, a veterinary behaviorist, studied this phenomenon in therapy cats working with PTSD veterans. She found that cats instinctively position themselves on or near the areas of their human's body that need healing. A cat sleeping on someone's chest indicates heart chakra imbalance. A cat persistently sitting on someone's head suggests mental and spiritual congestion. Most remarkably, cats seem to absorb negative energy from their humans and transmute it into positive healing energy. This explains why cats often become ill when their owners are going through traumatic experiences. They're literally taking on our pain and processing it through their own energy systems. As more people discover their cat's spiritual significance, a global network of awakened souls is forming, exactly as Cayce predicted. Online communities have emerged where people share their experiences of feline spiritual guidance. The stories are remarkably consistent across cultures and continents. Cats appearing at moments of crisis, cats predicting health problems, cats facilitating spiritual breakthroughs, cats serving as bridges between the physical and spiritual realms. This isn't coincidence. This is the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy playing out in real time. Perhaps most significantly, children today seem to instinctively understand their cat's spiritual nature. Unlike adults who have been conditioned to see cats as mere pets, children naturally communicate with their feline companions telepathically. 8-year-old Marcus from Toronto told his mother that his cat Whiskers talks to him in his head and shows him pictures of tomorrow. When pressed for details, Marcus accurately predicted his grandfather's visit 3 days before the family knew he was coming. 7-year-old Lily from London insists her cat Mittens helps her travel to the star worlds during her afternoon naps. Her parents initially dismissed this as imagination, until Lily began sharing detailed information about astronomical events that she couldn't possibly have known through normal channels. These children are exhibiting the psychic abilities that Cayce said would emerge during humanity's spiritual awakening, facilitated by their feline spiritual guides. Cayce warned that before the Great Awakening, humanity would experience what he called the dark night of the soul, a period of intense spiritual crisis where people would feel more disconnected than ever before. This is precisely what we're experiencing now. Depression, anxiety, and spiritual emptiness have reached epidemic levels. People have more ways to connect than ever before, yet they feel increasingly isolated. Traditional sources of meaning, religion, community, family, have weakened, leaving millions of souls adrift in a sea of meaninglessness. But in this darkness, the cats are fulfilling their prophetic role. They're serving as spiritual anchors, keeping their humans tethered to love, to presence, to the eternal soul that no amount of modern chaos can destroy. At the deepest level, Cayce's prophecy reveals that cats are teaching us the most important lesson of all. Love exists at a frequency that transcends physical reality. When your cat looks into your eyes with that knowing gaze, they're not just seeing you. They're seeing your soul, your eternal essence, your divine nature that remains untouched by trauma or pain. This is why a cat's presence can heal depression, why their purr can calm anxiety, why their love can resurrect hope in the darkest moments. They're broadcasting the frequency of unconditional love directly into our energy field, reminding us of who we really are beneath all the fear and forgetting. As we look around today, it's impossible to deny that Cayce's prophecy is manifesting exactly as he predicted. Cats are appearing in record numbers in animal shelters, seeking their assigned humans. Pet adoption rates have skyrocketed. The timing is not coincidental. As humanity stands at the threshold of either spiritual evolution or spiritual collapse, these feline guardians are taking their positions, ready to anchor the light in those who are ready to remember. If you have a cat, you're not just a pet owner. You're a participant in the greatest spiritual awakening in human history. Your feline companion isn't just offering comfort. They're serving as your personal spiritual teacher, energy healer, and dimensional guide. Look into their eyes tonight. Really look. What you'll see staring back at you isn't just an animal. It's an ancient soul, a divine messenger, a fragment of cosmic consciousness that chose to incarnate in fur and whiskers for one purpose: to help you remember who you really are. The next time your cat positions themselves on your chest during a moment of anxiety, understand that they're not just seeking warmth. They're performing energy healing that modern medicine is only beginning to comprehend. When they stare at empty corners of the room, realize they're not seeing nothing. They're perceiving dimensions of reality that exist beyond your current awareness, and they're standing guard at the threshold. When they appear at your doorstep as a stray, understand that this isn't random. Your soul called and they answered. They found you because they were meant to find you, because in the grand tapestry of existence, you needed each other. Edgar Cayce's prophecy about cats wasn't just about animals. It was about love. It was about the universe's infinite compassion for humanity during our darkest hour. It was about divine intelligence working through the most humble, accessible messengers to ensure that no soul would have to face the darkness alone. Your cat is proof that you are loved by forces beyond your understanding. You are guided by wisdom beyond your comprehension. You are protected by love beyond your imagination. And in this world of artificial intelligence and virtual reality, perhaps the most profound technology of all is the simple, elegant consciousness of a cat who chose to love you across lifetimes, across dimensions, across the very fabric of existence itself. The prophecy isn't just happening now, it's happening in your living room, in your bedroom, in your heart. It's happening every time you lock eyes with your feline guardian and feel that unmistakable recognition of two souls who were meant to find each other. If this message has awakened something in you, if you've recognized your own experience in these words, then you're part of the prophetic fulfillment Edgar Cayce described. You're one of the awakening souls that cats have been sent to guide and protect. I want to hear your story. Share in the comments below the moment you knew your cat was more than just a pet. Tell us about the miraculous timing of their arrival, the healing they've brought, the consciousness they've awakened in you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone who's struggling with depression, anxiety, or spiritual emptiness, share this video with them. Help them understand that their feline companion isn't just a pet, but a divine gift sent to anchor their soul during humanity's greatest transformation. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we're going to continue exploring the hidden spiritual dimensions of our world, the prophecies that are manifesting in our time, and the extraordinary love that guides us all. Remember, you're not just a cat owner. You're a guardian of consciousness, a participant in the Great Awakening. Your cat chose you. The universe chose you. And somewhere in the cosmic dance of existence, Edgar Cayce's prophecy continues to unfold, one purr at a time,